Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call the Operations Committee for Tuesday, November the 10th, 2020 to order. Has roll call been taken, Evelyn?
Yes, and we have quorum.
Thank you. Are there any disclosure of pecuniary interest in the general nature thereof? Seeing none, need a mover and seconder for the adoption of the minutes previous meeting held on October the 13th, which are attached. Councillor Bennett, Councillor Emo, any questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried, thank you. There are no delegations. We'll move right to the Public Works and Engineering Department. But before I turn that over to Mr. Baldock, who's filling in for Mr. Perkins at this meeting. Sitting in with us this morning is Mr. Taylor Hanrath, who is the acting manager of the Infrastructure Division. So welcome, Taylor, to the meeting this morning.
Thank you, Chair. It's a pleasure to be here.
Glad to have you. So I'm going to turn it over now to Mr. Baldock for the Public Works Department report.
Thank you, Chair Peckett. And through you to committee, I present the Public Works and Engineering Department report for November. Under information, item number 1, the monthly status report is attached as Appendix 1. Item number 2 is the capital program variance report, and that's attached as Appendix 2. Item number 3 is the monthly treasurer's report, attached as Appendix 3, is a copy of the September 2020 treasurer's report. Item number 4 is staffing. Item A is the casual winter truck equipment operators. And we have 4 gentlemen joining us this season, the 2020-21 season. Nicholas Heidemann at the Whitewater Road Patrol, and he's coming from our construction division this year. Brian Sullivan is joining the Goshen Patrol, and he's new to the county. Keith Martin is joining the Southwest Patrol, and he's returning. He's served a few winters with us. And also George Leach for the Cobden Patrol. He's returning after a few seasons as well.
Thank you. With it, we'll stop before we hit to resolutions, and we'll go back through the information part. We'll go back to item number 1, the monthly project status report. Any questions or comments on that? Item number 2, the capital program variance report. You see that I'd like to thank staff and our crews and stuff that we've actually during the year with COVID, our Public Works crew has done an outstanding job of getting things done and moving forward this year. I'd like to thank them all for the hard work that they've done this year for the County of Renfrew. Item 3, the monthly treasurer's report. Item 4, staffing, casual winter truck equipment operators, something that we go through every year. Seeing nothing, Mr. Baldock, we'll go into item 5 under resolutions, please.
Thank you, Chair Peckett. Under resolutions, item number 5 is the parking lot request for County Road 62, Cumbermere Road. The recommendation is that Operations Committee recommend that County Council not approve the request from the Township of Madawaska Valley to construct a parking lot adjacent to County Road 62, Cumbermere Road in the community of Cumbermere. Background on this item, the infrastructure technician, Nathan Kudak, met with Township staff on site during the week of October 5th, and they reviewed the request. There is a sketch attached as Appendix 4 for your reference, and I do have that available if someone needs to see it. The item number A is the businesses in the area would cross the street and lead to more pedestrians crossing a major road in that area. Item B is the sight lines to the east are of a concern. There's a bend in the road as well, curve in the road. And the winter snow removal as well. This parking lot would fill up the snow storage area in this area. And if there's any questions, I'd be pleased to answer.
Thank you. I guess I should have had a mover and seconder for the recommendation before we had a discussion on that. That's my fault. Moved by Councillor Emo, second by Councillor Lynch. Now that it's on the table, is there any questions or comments? Councillor Emo, please.
I'm not hearing anything. Is it?
Yeah, no,
Chair, we've lost you.
You're on.
Okay,
Chair's audio is off.
sorry. Did anyone hear about I made a mistake of not having a mover and seconder, and we heard that?
Yep.
So I had Councillor Emo and Councillor Lynch as the mover and seconder. So now that we have fixed my error, is there any comments on this? And Councillor Emo, please.
Thank you, through you, Chair. Just curious about the, what's the speed limit along that section? Because I noticed the 120 meters, which is nearly 400 feet. So is the speed limit 80 or is the speed limit 50 or 60?
Mr. Bowler?
Through your Chair Packet, to Councillor Emo. I did verify the speed limit to be in the 50 kilometers an hour in that zone. One of the issues is the cars would be backing onto the roadway.
Okay.
I think the other kind of issue there is there's a bit of a paved sidewalk which the vehicles would have to drive over top of to get into the area where they would be parking. And as Mr. Bullock pointed out, that area is currently used for placement of snow in the wintertime. And just as actually myself and staff, Mr. Perkins, visited that area, and while we were standing there, a vehicle came out of the side road there, Defoe Road, and it was a little bit wet, but the spinning of tires and the speed that vehicle was doing showed an absolute disregard for the speed. And the other point was that there's a curve right there, and vehicles coming around the curve with people crossing there to get to the other side where the businesses are located would probably necessitate crossing lights for people to be safe. So just a couple of bits of information for that. And I believe Warden Robinson, you had your hand up.
I did, Chair. Thank you. I'm just wondering, and if it's in here, I apologize. I've gone through it. The reason why they need a parking lot there, and if there's another property option for them.
I think they're looking at parking there for, it was mainly for tractor trailers who come out there and want to pull off the side of the road to cross over to use a couple of the commercial stores that are actually up the road a little bit from that area where they're parking. And that's what's been happening there, is that they've been pulling off into across the paved sidewalk area into this it's kind of a sandy area, and then pulling back out across the paved sidewalk, if you want to call it that, and it's right in an area where a tractor trailer's coming out. People are coming around the curve, not at 50 kilometers an hour. And then there's a lot of the people in and out of the vehicles are crossing over the roadway there to get to these commercial sites. Supplementary, Warden Robinson.
Yes, thank you, Chair. So it sounds like a disaster waiting to happen. So is there any options here that can assist Greater Madawaska Valley?
I think staff has been talking with staff at Madawaska Valley, trying to come up with some type of solution to help this out, because it is important that commercial businesses can do business. And I will remind Mr. Baldock here today and Mr. Perkins to make sure that they follow up with working with Madawaska Valley, trying to find some type of solution for that. There is a small parking lot further. I don't know what direction it is, but it's further towards Barry's Bay. If you look at the diagram, you can see a small entranceway that there's parking probably for 6 or 8 cars there, which would help for cars and stuff, but certainly not tractor trailers. And people then can use the walking area to walk up, but it is still crossing a very busy roadway. But we'll certainly, from our end of the situation, we'll be happy to work with Madawaska Valley to do everything we can to come up with some sort of plan to help out. Councillor Bennett.
Thank you, Chair. I'm just wondering if there's something that we can do temporarily, because if it's going to be a dangerous situation to have that parking lot, I've actually designated a parking lot. Are we not creating a danger right now by being there and not at least having signage or something on the roadway to warn people that there is pedestrians going across Cumbermere Road? It appears to me to be already, the problem's already there, and we're not protecting it whatsoever.
That's a very good point, Councillor Bennett, and it's one of the items that was discussed at the time about signage being erected there, and it's certainly on the table to put up signage for approaching traffic, especially on the other side of the curve, to be aware of pedestrians in the area crossing the roadway. But thanks for bringing that up again. Seeing nothing, very, very good points on that, and seeing no other discussion. All in favor of the resolution? It's carried. Thank you. Mr. Bullock had to step out, so I'll carry on with the next item as under bylaws, item number 6, the bylaw to regulate the parking of vehicles on adjacent to county roadways. Recommendation that the Operations Committee recommend that County Council amend bylaw number 91-20 for the regulation of parking along county roads to alter the regulations for parking on County Road 508, Calabogie Road, County Road 511, Lanark Road, and County Road 12, Westmeath Road. Background is there. Appendix 5 are updated parking restriction bylaws that have been received from townships of Whitewater, Greater Madawaska. Both bylaws include several changes that will impact county roads. In order for the changes to take effect, it is necessary to include the restrictions in the County of Renfrew bylaw to regulate the parking of vehicles on or adjacent to county roadways. The changes are outlined in bold and strikeouts in the draft bylaw. The local municipalities will be responsible for the enforcement of the bylaw as well as the collection of fines. Have a mover and seconder, please. Councillor Keller and Councillor Bennett. Questions or comments? Mr. Morrow, please.
Thank you, Chair. We were all getting an echo with Rick being in the same office. So, Chair, I've moved him right next door to you. But Rick is now available to take over the report again and lead through it. I apologize for that. I just think the sound will work a little bit better if he's right next door to you, Chair. My apologies for the change.
That's fine. I could hear the echo in here when Mr. Baldock was speaking as well, but that's fine. We're back online now, but for Mr. Baldock's information, I don't know whether he heard. I took over your position, Mr. Baldock, just to get bylaw number 6 on the floor, and that's where we're at right now.
Certainly my pleasure. Thank you very much.
So we're back to if there's any questions or comments on item 6, the bylaw. Councillor Emo, please.
Yeah, just a question. When I look at the descriptor, and it always says, and especially it jumped out at me when it said 1,000 meters from Eagle's Nest Trail. Like, do we know what that means? Does that mean the sign at the trail, or does that mean the midpoint of the trail? Like, I can understand it when we say it's a street, because I'm guessing, you take it from the center line of the street either way or something, but I'm just curious, that just started me thinking how, if we have a lot of retired lawyers or people with access to lawyers, so I'm just wondering at some point, if we're challenged, are we going to be able to properly defend it? And it's not I'm in favor of this, but it's just an idle curiosity thing that I sometimes indulge in.
Mr. Baldock, do you want to respond to that?
Yes, certainly, Chair Peckett. Thank you. And to Councillor Emo, yes, we've had this discussion before with bylaws to make sure that the measurements are accurate. So it would be to the center line of the trail, 1,000 meters from that location. And typically during roads, it would be from the center line of the adjacent road. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions on the bylaw? Councillor Emo? Councillor Emo?
Yes, thank you, Chair. And through you, when I see the number of streets that we're prohibiting parking on, does that say something about when we're refurbishing these streets? And I'm thinking of Mill Street through and Lanark Road. And I think they're scheduled to be refurbished, in the next 8 years or so. Does that mean, should we be looking at redesigning them when we're doing them? Based solely on the number, because we seem to have an increasing number of streets that we're adding to this list, and we're extending the parameters outwards all the time. So I'm curious if that's a consideration, that we automatically flag the file for review when it comes up for redesign.
Sorry, there's somebody's cell phone in this office and going off, but I think your suggestion is a very good one, and I think Mr. Baldock, he's back.
Merry Christmas.
I think that's an excellent suggestion, is that when we're redesigning or refurbishing roads, we should look at all aspects of the roadway at the time that they're up to be redesigned or refurbished. And if there's anything we can do to change things, keeping in mind the cost value and the benefits to the area that the roads are servicing, should be taken into consideration. So, Mr. Baldock, please.
Thank you, Chair Peckett. Just a quick comment that there is a design criteria program for each road when it comes up for capital construction. So it is reviewed, and if there's anything on file that's come up from the township, it would be brought forward at that time for review. Thank you.
Thank you. Warden Robinson, please.
Thank you, Chair. Just a question. I'm curious. Is this the exhaustive list of no parking streets for the county or county roads?
Pollock, please.
Yes, through you, Chair Peckett, to Madam Warden. Yes, this would be the comprehensive list at this time.
Thank you. CEO Morrow, please.
Thank you, Chair. Through you to Councillor Emo. My only caution, and again, I'm not a roads expert, my only caution would be that in terms of county road design and use, they are designed for higher traffic volumes and for higher speeds. And that's my caution about looking at the roads for parking at all. My thought would be that where there's an issue with parking, we need to go back to the local municipality and work with them to develop a type of parking facility that would not be part of the roadway. Just, my 2 cents.
Thank you. I think everyone has an idea where you're coming from with that comment. Anything else on the parking bylaw? Seeing none, all in favor of the bylaw? Carried. Thank you. We're on to item 7, Mr. Bullock, the Operations Division, please. You're muted, please.
Thank you, Chair Peckett. And to committee, I present the Operations Division report. Item 1 under information is fleet management, replacement pickup trucks. Happy to report that 3 replacement pickup trucks that were awarded to Butler Chev Buick GMC Cadillac Limited of Pembroke, Ontario, were delivered on October 8th, 2020. And the final vehicle preparations were completed, and the vehicles were placed into service during the week of October 19th. Item number 2 is culvert replacements. We had 3 urgent culvert replacements that came up in the last short while. Item A is County Road 5. Item B is County Road 37. And these culverts were, and item C, County Road 21, Beachburg Road. They were all found through Road Patrol to be in a deteriorated state. And we had our construction division replace the culverts, and they were reinstated. The roads were reinstated shortly thereafter. And if there's any questions on those items, I'd be pleased to answer.
Thank you. We'll go back to item number 1, fleet management, replacement pickup trucks. Any questions or comments? Councillor Bennett, please.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to say it's very nice to see that our local businesses are getting the contracts for fleet management. It's very much upsetting sometimes when you see the quotes coming in and they're from quite a distance away, and then you got to rely on the management of them fleets by the local companies. And it's very nice to see that the money is staying within Renfrew County. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else on item 1? Item 2A, culvert replacement, County Road 5. Councillor Emo, please.
Thank you. And this is not a criticism, it's a question. Criticism is much more direct. These culverts, how old were they? And when it says exhibiting signs of failure or imminent failure, did we notice that there was some dipping in the past and thought they'd hold on for another year or two, or is it just something that happened because they're 35 years old and steel?
Pollock, please.
Thank you, Chair Peckett, and through you to Councillor Emo. With these particular culverts, they were holes exhibited right in the roadway. And so they were right through to the culvert, and they're fairly shallow. So we knew there was time to replace them. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else on 2A? 2B, County Road 37. 2C, County Road 21. Councillor Emo.
Thank you. And again, with the three of them, were they replaced with a steel or with the new poly black or something else? Just a curiosity.
Mr. Pollock, please.
Yes, thank you for that question, and through you, Chair, to Councillor Emo. We are reviewing the standards at this time. The current standard is CSP, and it's a recommendation from maintenance staff, and the infrastructure division is looking at changing the standard to include HDPE or the plastic pipes, and that's under review at this time. But we have done also a couple pilot programs, so it's we should have a final decision shortly on that, and it looks like it will most likely be accepted. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else on Councillor Emo?
And I'm sorry, I should have mentioned this. So the funds, would that, when I look at the capital budget, I noticed we have a surplus of about 177,000 or whatever. Couldn't pull it up right away again. Was that money, or that surplus, was that utilized for these three projects?
Pollock?
Thank you, Chair Peckett, to Councillor Emo. Actually, they don't meet the threshold for capital projects. So we did look at the maintenance program. We believe that we'll be able to accommodate the costs under that program. Thank you.
Keller, please. Councillor Keller, sorry.
Yeah, that kind of elaborates to my question, was how large were these culverts that were being replaced? And I think that was answered, that they weren't part of our capital program. So they definitely probably were smaller culverts.
Thank you. Mr. Morrow, do I need a mover and seconder the report as a whole?
Yes, thank you.
Mover and seconder for the report as a whole. Councillor Keller, Councillor Lynch. No questions or comments? All in favor? It's carried. Thank you. Is there any new business? No closed meeting. County Council meeting noted November 25th. Thank you all. Very short, efficient meeting. I appreciate it. Everyone, please stay safe, and we'll talk to everybody soon. Thank you very much.
We need to have a mover and a seconder to close adjourn.
Councillor Peckett, your mic is not on, sir.
Mover and seconder to adjourn, please. Warden Robinson, Councillor Emo, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. Thank you all.